Actually, it's not so bad in here. It feels pretty cool. They said it was
nice
warm,
here.
but yeah, it's nice. How are you guys doing? That's what I want to know. Woohoo! I'm going to ask what time it is, and you guys need to know what time it is without actually looking at your time. Because real Power Ranger fans will know what I mean. What time is it? Yes! But you got to be a little bit louder than that. Let's try that one more time. What time is it? Yes! You were over there looking at your clock.
I was actually looking at where we were, so I knew how much time we had.
Okay, we'll take that.
It's moderator. At least I don't have a flip, so I'm doing that. Like I was an old-timey radio guy.
Okay.
Reading copy. Okay, well, I know what actually, let's go with a question that I asked you this morning.
Okay.
If you, out of all the questions you haven't asked by somebody in the panel, what would you like me to ask you?
I don't have an answer for that. I don't know what I want you to ask me. He came to my booth today and was like, have you ever been wanted someone to ask you a question that they've never asked you? And I couldn't think of anything because I feel like I've been asked over these last, because I started doing cons in 2009. So since then, I feel like I've been asked quite a bit of questions. So I can't think of any that, I don't know. I can't think of any. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I can find a question.
Okay, find a question then.
Here's one question about cons, since you've been doing them for more than a second or two.
Okay.
Have you seen anything that changes in the con culture or has changed in the con culture in the time you've been doing it?
I think after COVID, can't we agree that a lot of things changed after COVID? Like you really had to come back to what it used to be before COVID. You know, I think people are a little bit more aware. I see people that still continue to wear masks now, and I don't remember carrying sanitizer before COVID as often. I definitely make sure that I carry sanitizer, and that's because I've had COVID 4 times. And I have a granddaughter now, and I'm not trying to take that home to her or my family either. But because she's so little, she's very susceptible to RSV and COVID and stuff like that. So I just think people are a little bit more conscientious when they attend cons nowadays.
Yeah. Other than just the safety awareness and conscientiousness, have you seen anything change in fandom? People who, I guess. Some people, you've got I'm a fan. And have you gotten to the point where people are like, well, wait a minute, in this, did you do that? Or is it, is it...
I think it's been the same. It's been the same for me. Most people, typically I have a banner, not on this banner, but I have a banner of, a lot of the work that I've done. And people will come up and they'll be like, oh, I saw you in Danger Force, saw you in Heart of Dixie, I saw you. But they want to talk about Power Rangers. They'll be like, oh, I saw you. But Power Rangers, which is a blessing. And that is my very first series that I ever did 30 years ago. And so all of my work kind of sums it up back to Power Rangers because I've been able to work for the last 30 years. But it's Power Rangers has such a cult following and it's been such a blessing because without Power Rangers, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now, travel the world and meet extraordinary fans and hear your stories. And I've cried with fans. And I love the way that Chance, you probably don't know who Chance is. He's in Cosmic Fury. Do you? Oh, okay. Yeah. We just had him on my YouTube channel, Power Rangers Playback, and he said he doesn't call fans, he calls you guys supporters. And I love that because that's what you guys are. You're supporters. And I think I'm going to change mine to supporters because we wouldn't be able to do this if we weren't supported by you guys. So thank you for that.
That's cool. It's a nice way to put it too. I mean, there is fandom, but there's support sounds so much better and so much more. It sounds so much more inclusive.
Yes, I agree.
We're good with inclusive.
Yes, yes we are.
So. You talked about a broad body of work, and don't worry, we will talk Power Rangers, I promise. But, some of the other work that you've done, what's it like? I mean, is there, I know you've been on Bones, obviously Harvey Dixie, like you mentioned, with stuff like that, when you're coming into something that is set, you know, you've got the main ensemble and you come in, what's it like for you to get ready to go into something like that? Is it something where you're researching the show yourself, or is it just, here's my part and maybe I get a day or two to run some sides and maybe I get 15 minutes and I gotta go be there?
That's a very good question. So I've had once I left Power Rangers, one of my first jobs were comedy. Comedy is what I love. I grew up on the Carol Burnett Show, Fred Sanford and Son. We're moving on up. Which show is that?
Jeffersons.
Jeffersons, yes. And the Archie Bunker. So I used to perform skits in my living room and force my older brother to perform with me. And I would force my parents to watch. You're gonna watch me today. But I enjoyed making people laugh. So one of my first jobs after Power Rangers was a sitcom called Smart Guy. And I played the love interest to Jason Weaver, and Cuba Gooding's brother also starred in that show, and Eston Atkins and everything. And that was my first exposure to sitcom, and I just completely fell in love with it. And you were asking, when you audition for a show, you should know what you're auditioning for. You should know the tone of the show. You don't want to go to an audition, because I did do this once. What show was it? I auditioned for the show, and I didn't really understand the tone, and it wasn't a comedy, and I made it into a comedy. And the casting director was like, that was really funny. Howsoever, this is not a comedy. So needless to say, I didn't get a call back, but they kept calling me back into their office. So it's really important that you understand the tone of the show, understand, the do's and the don'ts, and also there's also a whole world. There's a whole world that you have to understand when you're on a show. So I try to prepare myself before I go there. And most of the sets, 98% of the sets that I've been on, they've all been very welcoming. There's a handful of times where I was just ready to leave, just do my job and just be out. But for the most part, it's been a really, really great experience. I go there prepared. You have to know your lines, because I've heard of people being fired during table reads. Actually, the first job, when I said I did Smart Guy, there were two of us hired to play love interest, me for one of the lead actors and the other girl for the other one. And with sitcoms, it's different than Power Rangers. Power Rangers, you get the script, you start filming. You rehearse 10 minutes or so, and then you film. With sitcoms, it's a week long, and you do a table read. You sit down, the producers want to hear you do a table read. People get fired from that table read. You've been hired, but you have to go there and still know your stuff. And this is where I learned that, because I didn't know that. And then after you read and do your table read, you go back for rehearsal, and they're kind of, organizing everything, where you're going to stand. You're going to stand here. You're going to say this set. Yeah, set blocking. Thank you. Lost my mind.
I found it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So, and then we did a run through. So this was Monday.
Mm-hmm.
You do rehearsal Monday through Thursday, and you typically film on Friday. You may do some filming on Thursday. And Friday is in front of a live studio audience. So it's like live theater, but on film. And that's what I loved, because I have a theater background too. But so we go and we do the rehearsal, and we were so hot, had such a great time. The next day I come back on set, and so much so that the girl that I connected with, we had opened up our dressing rooms right next to each other, and we had an air wall. So we opened up the air wall so we could see each other. So great. So Tuesday comes.
You want to get that?
That's cat. That's cat calling.
Okay.
So I get there on Tuesday, and I go in, and I'm like, hey, hi. She was fired and recast on Tuesday. We had a new girl in the dressing room, and that's where I learned that just because you get a job does not mean that you're going to keep it. So I guess the producers didn't I don't know what part they didn't like or whatever, but as soon as we finished rehearsing on Monday, they had called casting and had a casting call and replaced her by Tuesday.
We'll leave it to that mysterious term, chemistry.
Yes, chemistry. We'll roll with that. I don't know what the
No, it doesn't need to be a reason. It's chemistry.
Yeah.
But that's interesting because that's not just something that happens in TV and movies. That's a great lesson for anything that you do. Be prepared, know what you're going into, and when you're there, be ready to do your work.
Yeah.
You
got to show up and show out, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Now, I know that you said that stuff like that happens going from a comedy to a dramedy or a procedural like Bones. Is it a different tone on set, or is it all the same? Is it ramped up because, there's definitely drama involved in this, or is it just, we're gonna have fun too?
It's fun behind the scenes. It's definitely fun. I'm trying to think of when I was on Bones. No, I really got along with the guy that played my husband and the lead actress. I cannot remember her name.
One of the two Duchamel sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's her name? Emily. So nice. Oh my gosh. Actually, I got to do both sisters' show. I did New Girl and I did that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Just look at it.
And Emily was amazing. Emily was amazing. She was so welcoming. My scene wasn't even with her. She came up and introduced herself to me, which was not always the case when you're on the set and the lead actor is not always so welcoming. But she was very, very sweet. Very sweet. But yeah, no, we just have fun. When you're not on camera in the role, you have fun behind the scenes, cracking jokes, singing, whatever, if they're open to it. So.
Yeah, you just read the room and go.
Yeah.
And actually, when I said, I've seen those eyes before with the two Duchamel sisters.
Yes.
Their mom actually plays John Glenn's wife in Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff.
Oh, I don't know that show, but I believe you.
Movie.
Okay, don't know the movie, but I believe you.
The funny thing is, I saw her and I'm like, I've seen those eyes before. All three of them had the same eyes.
Oh, wow.
Weird.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Power Rangers, but other things. You said you've got a background in theater as well?
I do have a background in theater.
What? Comedy, yes, but just comedy, musical?
No, I mean, I've done everything. Musical, I've auditioned for Broadway. I've gotten as far as the director didn't end up actually doing it, but yeah. Broadway, I just wrote a feature film last year called Back to Bridgewood. It's an inspirational comedy. It's in film festivals. Actually, we've won a few awards and have just been nominated for Best Comedy, Best Visionary, and one other category. And I find out next week if we won. And thank you. I co-wrote that with a friend of mine, produced it, funded it, and we have international distribution waiting on domestic distribution. This is my first real feature film. In 2015, I wrote a web series that lasted 2015 through 2017, and those characters, a distribution company came to me and asked me if I could combine all of the episodes and make it into a feature film, and they'd buy it, and I was like, okay. So that show,
yes,
you gave me money for it? Okay. So I combined all of the episodes, and actually it's on Peacock right now. Yeah. It's called Class Dismissed. I understand it wasn't written as a feature film. They were web series that were combined episodes, so they kind of flow, but it's not exactly a film format, but it's on Peacock.
Kind of like vignettes?
Huh?
Kind of like vignettes almost?
Well, I combined it so it looks like a feature film. It's about an hour and a half long, and each episode leads into the next, so that's how it ended up working. But
congratulations on the editing.
Thank you.
That's important.
Actually, Johnny Bosch helped me with that.
Really?
Yeah, Johnny, who played Adam. He helped me with some of the music stuff when I had to combine all of the episodes, so he was instrumental with helping with that. Yeah.
It actually leads to another interesting question.
Okay.
With the Power Ranger family.
This is for the Power Ranger family?
With the Power Ranger family.
Okay.
All the different Rangers, because remember, you were here a couple of years ago.
I was here in 2019, guys.
Yes, 2019 with two other.
I've seen a couple of faces here that remember me. Thank you.
So the thing with this is, when you guys are doing projects, are you guys all just like, hey, you're good at this. You want to help me with a thing? Or do you guys, for lack of better terms, cross over into one another's worlds creatively still?
Absolutely.